Hi everyone, this is Jean, and today we're going to talk about one of the oddest looking things in your sewing machine box, and that is your walking foot. I have my walking foot right here. Let's talk about the foot itself. You have the presser foot part right here, and in it you will see these little teeth that are what help the foot work, and they move back and forth as the foot works, and that's what keeps the top fabric moving along as the feet in your sewing machine move the bottom fabric. This arm that sticks out from the top of the walking foot is going to attach right here above your needle, and that arm works in conjunction with your needle going up and down and helps make these feet move back and forth to move that top fabric and make everything move smoothly through your sewing machine so that you get great results when you're working with multiple layers. So to attach this foot, what you need to do is, as you slide the foot in, let me raise my presser foot, as you slide the foot in to where it screws in, you also need to slide this arm in so that it fits snugly right there. Now you don't have to screw it in, just make sure it slides into where that bar is, and then attach your foot and screw it in place. Once you have that in place, the other adjustments that I would recommend that you make for your sewing machine are to go ahead and lengthen your stitch length. Since we're quilting, I think it always looks better to have slightly longer stitch length than the norm. I typically use a 3.0 when I am doing straight line quilting with my presser or with my walking foot on. And the other thing that I adjust is if you have a adjustable speed on your sewing machine that's independent of your presser foot, I usually turn that down a bit so that my max speed is at about half speed. You don't want to go too fast when working with the walking foot just because of the way that the mechanism works. High speed can result in some really awkward stitches or some gaps sometimes. So you always want to work with a slow speed when you're using your walking foot. So once you've made that adjustment, you are ready to start stitching. It's always good to start in the middle of your quilt. There is always some sort of drawing in as you quilt any quilt, so starting in the middle helps reduce that. So simply start on one side, and I have my tails off to the side, and I'm just going to start a straight line down the middle of my quilt. And as you can see, the feet on top work just like the feed dogs do on the bottom, and they move my top fabric along with my bottom fabric. So that gives me my first row of stitching. Now, one of the beautiful things about having a walking foot is that most of them come with a guide like this that you can fit into it. There's a hole at the back, and you slide this guide in, and you have quite a bit of width there that you can use. But this guide is simply a width guide, and you set it wherever it is that you want it to be, and you can get your ruler out and you set it at a width from the needle and decide what you want your width to be. So I'm going to set it at 2 inches. So that's at 2 inches. So when I come back here to my line that I have stitched already, I can put that guide right where my line is, and press your foot down, and then as I stitch my next line, I'm going to follow that guide right along where I already stitched. My line will remain 2 inches away for the entire length of the quilt. And then I simply repeat that on the other side, and so on across the entire length of the quilt. And that's how I get nice even spacing between my lines for the entire length of the quilt. Now, in my next post, I'm going to be showing you some tips and tricks on how to do some additional types of quilting beyond just straight line quilting. So stay tuned for those in my next post, and get out your walking foot and try some quilting with it.